Let's see, I put this out, I put my henna out on the deck railing, just out of the sun. So let's see how we're doing. It probably was out there, oh, I don't know, how long has it been? Maybe a couple of hours it's been out there? Yeah, I'd say that's right. Yeah, at least. So, let me get some more light on it. Okay, so how do we look? Can you see that? It's definitely looks good. What did I do with my fork? I'd get a fresh one. Well, here we go. Okay, so look at that. It's so smooth. Like, I don't even think I'm going to need to add any more water, because this looks great. So notice when we first mixed it, how chunky it was. And then now, after several hours of it sitting, it's no longer chunky, and it's beautiful. Beautiful. It's really, like, perfect. So, I want to say that this henna powder that I used is from Rajasthan, India. It is, I think at this point, it's my favorite henna. And it has a pretty quick dye release time. We really used to have to let the henna sit overnight before it could be, sometimes even 24 hours, depending on the type. But this henna does not require all of that, and it's like this is where I start to geek out, because it's just so, it has totally transformed. It's beautiful. Yay. So just stirring through here and looking, and I don't see any chunks or lumps. It's wonderful. Okay, so that's good to go. And so now, also, if you notice, like, there's still a little bit of orange on my finger from where I scraped the fork last time. So now what you do is you want to test it. So I usually put like a spot on my palm. And I let it sit for a good few minutes. So I will go ahead and pause while we let this sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll check it and see how we're doing. Okay, I'm back. I'm not really sure how long it's been. I wasn't really paying attention. I was out fooling around in the garage. So you can see where I scraped the fork, how orange my finger is. All I did was wipe off the paste with a paper towel, and that's pretty good. So now let's wipe this spot off, and that's still kind of pale. I would like it to be darker than that. But you see how initially this really didn't show up, and then it sort of showed up just in the last few minutes. So anyway, we would like it to be brighter than that, more of a neon. But sometimes that's how it goes. Either way, if you're going to, it's okay to go ahead and cone this up and fill your cones with it, because the dye will continue to release inside the cone. Also, if you're going to fill your cones or just your carrot bag, where are we here? Then you can always fill your carrot bag with the henna and tie it up and put it in the freezer. You don't even have to use it right away. But just from the freezing and then thawing process, when you do use it, that kind of busts open that cellular wall. So by the time it goes through all of that, it should be good to go. So let's go ahead and fill, let's get this off of here, and fill our carrot bag. Get this off of here. Now we're going to get us a spoon. See, like just scraping my spoon again. Like it's so, boom, orange. So let's go with this big tablespoon, soup spoon, whatever. So, so the carrot bag is in here. I'm trying to put this where I can see it. And you've got it nice and open here. So you want to try to fill it without getting it on the sides. At least, you know, that's what I do, just because it makes it less messy. So, and just let it kind of plop in and fall to the bottom there in the center. Get out of here, bug. Get. Little bug flying around. Because of course the doors have to be open because the dog is constantly in and out, in and out. Okay. It smells so good. Now, if you do use a container like this or another plastic container, make sure that you only use that container with to mix henna with. Don't mix henna in it and then use it for food. Because once you've had essential oils in here, it's in there. There's no way, you know, that you could get all the residual out. And so you notice that my lid says henna. So this container I keep in, you know, in a special place, separate from all of my other leftover containers and stuff. So that way I know that this one is for henna, and I use this one every time I mix henna. Because you know, it's plastic, and the essential oils, you know, do sort of eat into the plastic or whatever, like it gets in there. So you don't want to ever ingest essential oils, not even a little bit. So scrape this in there. This is so silky, wonderful. Okay. Rinse that. Go ahead and rinse this. And wipe my finger off again. See how like orange my finger is getting from multiple times of being dipped in the henna. Okay. So get that off under my nail and everything. Okay, so now that we've got our henna in here, I just want to kind of shake it down nice. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, and then you can kind of lift this out and shake it down. Get rid of your cup. And now you've got a lovely carrot bag full of beautiful, perfect paste. So now I will go ahead and like sort of twist this around and tie it off. It's a little bit difficult because the plastic is stiff, and if you fill this too full, if you fill it any fuller than this, you won't have enough tail to put in a good knot because you won't have enough to like get a hold of. See, this is about as full as you want it. So there is your carrot bag, and see, this is why they call it a carrot bag, because there you go. Okay, so now we have that. So remember our cone that we rolled earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and use my cup again. Let me get my scissors. Okay, so I'm going to snip this tip. You know, not too big, but not too small, or else it'll take you forever. So let's go. And then when I'm done, I will just tape this tip up, and I will put all of this in the freezer for another day. So I think there is good. And then we can put it as far down as we can into our cone. And can you see that? And keep it like in the center so it's not touching the sides. And then you can go ahead and fill, take out, and then kind of smash this so it's closed at the top. That's how I go. And then you can sort of fold it over, bend it, whatever, and it squeezes your henna down to the bottom, or to the tip. See? Okay, and then you can come back up here, open it, make sure that it fully opens inside, and that that little flap in there isn't like I don't know, there's a little flap in there, the other corner from the inside, and it can sometimes get stuck, and then you think you're filling, but it's kind of closed, if that makes sense. Anyway, and then from here, just add some more. Probably that's enough. It's about as far as I like to go. And get your tape. Actually, while I was out today, I bought a fresh roll. This is my favorite because the tape itself is shiny, and notice this, like it says it's invisible tape, but not on here because it shows up, and it's just, you know, I don't want to see it. So, making a mess. So here's just sort of get my, I like to have a few pieces of tape ready, and I probably use more tape on my cones than a lot of other henna people, but there are girls that can roll beautiful cones, and my cones are usually pretty ugly, but they're functional. So I kind of push it in here, and then kind of like a gift wrap, you're folding the two sides in, and then notice that some henna squished up in here. That's okay. Fold this over. Okay, Norman, stop. Oh, my dog. And then I put some tape around there, that fold. So now that's nice and closed. And then from there, you can just sort of start folding, rolling, whatever you want to do. Pulling it down. And notice that there is some, there's some henna squeezing out as I do this. And, you know, that's just how it goes. Because if you want to get a nice tight, alright, so that's about as far as I can go without like squeezing it all out. And put some henna or some tape over that top there. So now it's all closed, and then I have one more piece of tape, so I'm going to put it around the top here, get some more, and just sort of make sure that that's all nice and taped off. So there you go. Yay. That's pretty much it for that. So notice that this dot here has gotten a little bit darker. You can also notice, like, you know, it's just a light squeeze. The harder you squeeze, the more, of course, will come out and you get a fatter line. You just lightly squeeze and it'll come out. When you're making dots, you just sort of like squeeze in one place. If you are doing, let's see, you're doing like a little leafy or something. Well, that's shitty. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Hold on. Wipe all this off because now my hand's going to be a mess. Let's see. These are one of my favorite things for fingertips. These little fingertip fans is what I think they're called. So it's just sort of a fan. That makes sense. There you go. And then like a dot there. You can pull out this top part. If you want to. Make it a little more leafy or something. Add a little, like I'm not even squeezing, I'm just touching the tip. So, see that? So, it's just a little bit of, there you go. Alright, I'm trying to think of questions and things. Basically, when it comes to applying, you just have to play. You have to get a feel for this. I actually, when I started hennaing 25 years ago, I used little squeeze bottles, plastic squeeze bottles with little metal tip. But at some point, I don't know, halfway in, I made the switch to a cone because it's so much better. The bottle puts stress on your hand. This is so much better on your thumb, on your hand. It's cheaper. You don't have to rinse it out and clean it because the tips of the bottles were always getting clogged and it's just a mess. This is really, and this is the traditional applicator, so you really just want to, you know, if you want to be true to the art of henna, this is where it's at. So you can roll a bunch of these, you can put them in the freezer, and then they're ready to go. This will thaw out in like 10 minutes from being frozen. So if you want it to fill, you know, you can freeze your carrot bag, you can fill a bunch of cones and freeze them, put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. Be sure to write the date. You know, you can, one of these out of the freezer is good for a few days, and then the dye content will start to die. So if you want to pull it out, thaw it, use it, put it in the refrigerator, use it the next day, you know, but at some point, you know, it's gonna not be so great. So, and you don't want to like freeze it, thaw it, freeze it, thaw it. You know, maybe one, maybe two freezings, because the that will cause it to die out, and then it won't stain. So this video has gotten kind of long, so I'm going to stop, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If there's anything I forgot. Oh, also, so you want to, when you apply this, of course, you have about a half an hour or so for it to dry, and then you want to leave it on for several hours so it can do its job. And then when you are when you want to remove the paste, you sort of flip it off, pick it off, use a business card. That's a nice kind of scrapey tool. A piece of cardboard. You can just sort of like get under there and flip it off outside or over the sink. Don't just rinse it off with water. You want to remove it dry and then keep it dry. So if I wanted to keep this orange stain on my finger, I would keep this out of water for 6, 8 or more hours. Oftentimes when I henna myself, I would do it in the evening, remove the paste before bed, and then keep it dry all night. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's darker. This will darken up if I let it. Either way, I'm going to have a stain here. But if I wash this with soap, it won't be as bright. And it won't develop into a deep, red-brown stain. So, I don't know. I guess that's about it. The stain will fade away as your dead skin cells exfoliate. So you want to avoid rubbing, scrubbing, anything like that. Chlorinated water in a swimming pool will bleach your stain out. Salt water will also, because there's little particles, if it's in the ocean or something, that will kind of act as a loofah, because there's sand and stuff in the water. So you just want to try and keep it dry and not get rid of the dead skin cells anytime soon. Okay, girl, let me know, and I hope this helped.